We actually have some Walking Dead news today, which I'm super excited about. I feel like the last month there's just been nothing. But since we are just under 2 months away, like a month and 3 weeks or something like that away from the mid-season premiere, as the new year rolls around next week, there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. We might as well start getting back into that Walking Dead mindset because, yeah, the second half is going to be really insane. I mean, I'm so excited for the second half of the season. I can't wait to watch episode 9. Like, I'm really excited to watch it because I know it's going to be the start of, I guess, the rest of the Whisperer arc, right? The Whisperer arc isn't going into season 11. I'd be pretty shocked if it did. If it did at all, it's going to be something to do with the Horde. And that's if they do like a Horde aftermath or a Horde cliffhanger sort of thing. And I don't think they're going to do that. They might do a variation of certain things with like the Horde is still attacking this place, or I don't know. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think it would be smart. I mean, who knows? Maybe they will, but they'll do it in a way that actually works. The point is the Whisperer arc is actually going to be coming to an end this season within the next 8 episodes. And I'm so hyped for it. It's so weird for me personally because I'm so used to like whenever The Walking Dead gets into an arc, it's going to last for, I don't even know, a while. I think it's because of the Savior arc, because the Savior arc was basically kind of season 6, like the second half anyways, and season 7 and all of season 8. The Whisperers, they were introduced, I guess, episode 6 of season 9. It's basically almost as long as the Governor arc. It's like a season and a half for the most part. And yeah, I feel like if there's going to be a main villain, I think that's probably the appropriate amount of time. Maybe even do just one season. A 1-season villain or a season and a half villain, whatever. I think that works. With the Savior arc, I mean, holy crap, it was like 3 years. It was like nonstop. Like the Saviors aren't even gone yet. Jesus. Anyways, I want to talk about episode 9 because we actually got a title and a synopsis. Thank you to the few that were sending me this. I'm not exactly sure if this is 100% correct, but it seems like it. Whenever stuff like this comes out, it does seem to be right. And it is only for the first episode. I imagine within the next few weeks, we'll have the title and the synopsis for the next like 4 or 5 episodes. That'll actually confirm right there whether or not episode 12 is going to be Michonne's final episode, right? Also, because it is the end of the year and the end of the decade, I want to do a top 10 best episodes of The Walking Dead, like of the last decade, which is basically since the show has been on, and top 10 worst episodes of the decade. My top 10 best episodes will be coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And the worst one, I mean, we'll see when that comes out. I'm not going to be including any Fear the Walking Dead episodes because, yeah, it would just be a top 10 of bad Fear the Walking Dead episodes. So, of course, before we begin, just remember that this will contain spoilers for the first half of season 10, which I'm sure you're all aware of. But the mid-season premiere, it's titled Squeeze, which obviously makes a lot of sense if you know what's going on. And the synopsis is, the collected communities are reluctantly respecting the new borderlines being imposed on them. So first of all, let's talk about the title. What does that mean? I mean, it's titled Squeeze. We know we're going to be exploring that cave storyline. Our characters have to get out of that situation. And we see a lot of shots from that teaser with Jerry like squeezing literally through a hole. And they're just having an impossible time trying to get out. Now, the title I do think is actually appropriately titled because not only are they talking about that, like our characters trying to squeeze through these small holes or whatever to try to get out of this cave, it's also talking about our communities are reluctantly respecting these new borderlines being imposed on them. So this is why I also think the synopsis is weird, but I think it also kind of makes sense. I guess that is going to be introduced in the mid-season premiere, these new borderlines. Our characters, I guess they went into Whisperer territory. Carol, Daryl, Jerry, Aaron, all of them. They all crossed the border and Alpha saw them. Alpha put a trap there for them. I think what we're going to see in the mid-season premiere, and I think that's why Gamma is there. Gamma is telling them these are the new borders. You need to respect these lines or else, basically, right? And I think that's where the title comes into play, Squeeze. Alpha is just squeezing those communities now. Like the border is probably very close to just their community border in general. They can likely see the border just from Alexandria. I mean, if it's like that short and they're running out of resources now, if they're cut off from all the resources, they can't live or do anything. That might be why Gamma is where she is. We were all wondering, why is she in Alexandria, right? That doesn't make any sense. Well, this is likely what that is. Like Father Gabriel and Rosita, they're probably going to find out about what happened to our characters at the cave, that Alpha did something to them. They're all going to be freaking out and worried. And then she's going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, Alpha set these new rules. These are the new borderlines. You guys need to follow that. Because so far this season has basically been that. Our characters constantly break the rules and Alpha is just setting new borderlines. That happened in episode 3 or 4. I think it's episode 3 with Ghost because of what happened in the premiere. She set new borderlines and now it's happening again because of what happened in the mid-season finale. And I do like this. I really like the fact that that is basically what Alpha is trying to do. It's like if you break a rule, you cross our territory, if you don't want us to unleash our entire horde on you, then we're just going to be way more strict with that border. And that's what Alpha's trying to do. Alpha's trying to kill them. Alpha's trying to like strangle them basically, or squeeze them. Like that works, right? So squeeze does refer to that. Squeeze refers to our characters in that cave, obviously trying to get out, but it also refers to the fact that Alpha has these new borderlines and they're cutting off our characters from all of their resources, and Alpha's literally squeezing our group, forcing them to live in a very small area now where it's just unlivable. And I think this is where the war is going to begin. If you think about it, we haven't had a moment yet where it's like, okay, we're going to battle, this is it, we're going to go and fight. We haven't had that moment yet. I assume that's basically what was gonna happen after the mid-season finale, but I guess that's not really what it is. I guess what's gonna result of what our characters did in crossing the border in episode 8 is that Alpha is just gonna be more strict with her borders, which I feel like, I mean, in Alpha's head, she's definitely being very forgiving at this point. It's like, they're always gonna break those rules. Like, don't you know that by now? Both sides hate each other. Both sides are trying to kill each other. I mean, I'm not sure why Alpha's doing that, but I guess it does make sense. And I think these new borderlines, it's just gonna push people to war. I think that's probably what Alpha wants to a certain extent. And so I think episode 9 is going to introduce this idea that we're going to go to battle. Because if you remember that teaser trailer that they released for the second half of the season, there were a lot of battle scenes. I think a lot of stuff that we're seeing there, and I still have to do a video on that, like the Whisperer invasion of Alexandria, I think that has to do with the border. I think because the border is so close to the communities now, the Whisperers are just very, very close. It's entirely possible that they're forcing Alexandria to even live with the Whisperers. You never know. That the border is actually past there and now they're forcing all of them out of Alexandria. Maybe that's why the Whisperers are there. We'll find out in episode 9, of course, but I think the premiere is definitely going to be focusing on this idea that they've had enough now. You know, they've been living this way for a very long time now, and it's just gotten to the point where they just can't do it anymore. The war is going to start, and then we're going to get all those scenes there with Daryl and Aaron, and they're all ready, or battle ready in front of the hilltop. Maybe that's why they're at the hilltop. Maybe the Whisperers have just completely taken over Alexandria. Who knows? As for what communities are going to be featured in this episode, I imagine we're going to see Alexandria, obviously, with Gamma. She's probably going to relay this information to Gabriel. I think we're going to see Hilltop a little bit, but I'm not quite sure on this one. Then obviously the cave group, I guess is what you would call them, will focus a lot on them and them trying to get out of there, because there was one scene that I haven't actually even talked about. It was on Talking Dead, and it was Magna in the cave. So there's that. So I imagine we're going to get a lot of time in that cave. And you see some scenes even in that teaser trailer where Carol and Daryl are talking to each other. Carol's apologizing to Daryl, I guess, for getting them in this situation. So I think most of that episode is going to be them in the cave, and then near the end, they'll actually get out. And I do think that's going to be how the episode ends. They're going to go to war. They're going to declare that we're going to battle now. And then episode 10, I think we'll cut back to some more Whisperer stuff. We'll see Alpha and Negan. They're going to be talking about, you know, the fact or the idea of Alpha having a spy. Alpha will probably worry a lot about that. Maybe Gamma dies in that episode. Maybe she dies near the end. Maybe it's literally a standalone Whisperer episode. Who knows? And then episode 11 is a war episode. I kind of have a feeling that episode 9 and 10 are going to be, I guess, not filler episodes. They're definitely not filler episodes. I don't even mean to connect it to that in any way, but it's going to be those episodes that's like, yeah, exciting things do happen, but it's not like a big death episode like Alpha's death or something like that, or a war or something like that, right? Because they got to build to that. I definitely am not really that big of a fan of when they do standalone story episodes. And what I mean by that is focusing on Alexandria and like the cave stuff for one, and then the following episode focus just on the Whisperers. I'm not that big of a fan of that, just because I kind of like to go back and forth a little bit within an episode, not in each specific episode. But obviously Angela Kang knows what she's doing. I mean, I've enjoyed the season so far. The second half of the season seems to be really just insane, so I can't really judge it yet. We'll see once this whole season is done, like what she accomplished. It might all really, really make sense. Because you can't constantly have big moments all the time. That's the thing. And if there's no build up to it, you're not going to care for it. Right? And so far we've been getting all this build up. It just has to pay off that much more, right? And if it doesn't, then yeah, obviously it would lower my grading of the season, but we're not there yet. We still have 8 more episodes to go. We're halfway through. We'll see where this goes, but I mean, yeah, episode 9, it sounds like it's going to be a really good episode. It's titled Squeeze. The synopsis says that the collected communities are reluctantly respecting the new borderlines being imposed on them. I guess that could also include Oceanside, but yeah, I guess they're just having a very, very hard time with these new borderlines. So this is our first real look into episode 9, the first, I guess, tease that we got at all for the episode, besides like the general teaser trailer, because they haven't really talked about the episodes or the second half of the season that much. since the first half ended. So yeah, overall, I'm super hyped for this. But let me know what you guys all think. What are your predictions for episode 9? What do you think the title squeeze means? And what do you think about these new borderlines? How do you think that's going to affect our characters and I guess the story? I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this. We're about 58 days away now until the mid-season premiere, so we're getting very, very close. But I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.